when during World War II, that's when I was a child coming of age. That was in 1941 to 45. That's when the war was going on. And my older brothers had paper routes. My daddy, in addition to working at the Army base, he also worked for the local railroad. And he had 2 jobs. He always worked 2 jobs so my mom could stay home and raise them 5 boys. But he worked 2 jobs, and I think it was a good thing because when kids in their formative ages, they really need their moms, okay? So that's what my daddy did. But so he worked at the freight yard downtown. And the black people had national newspapers, like the Pittsburgh Courier was one, the Chicago Defender was another one. The Baltimore African-American Sun. There was about half a dozen black newspapers, national papers. And those papers would be distributed all across the United States by the trains. So people, especially in the South, seemed like to me people were more knowledgeable about those kind of things as opposed to what was happening in the North. And when we moved to Warren, Ohio, that was not as prevalent as it was. But Cleveland, the largest city there, but the most mid-sized, small cities were not familiar with the black history from that concern. There was an article printed in all those newspapers called Your History. It was by a black author, and his name was J.A. Rogers, for Joel Augustus Rogers. Mr. Rogers was, his dad was Caucasian, and his mom was a black African, and he's raised up on the islands and educated in Europe, and he was an anthropologist and a historian. And I grew up reading and studying his books, and they even taught a little bit of black history back in the 40s at these black schools that we attended. We learned about George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington. Crispus Attucks was the first American to die during the Revolutionary War. Up in Boston, Massachusetts, there's a statue of him in the middle of Boston Commons now dedicated to him. We all heard